Welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Tuesday. We're joined by LB. We've got Positive Dan. We've got Aaron on the show with us. How are we, gentlemen? We all good and well?
Oh, good, man. My club's not
in all crisis. Good, Terry, mate.
Like some, you know what I mean?
Yeah, winners row on top here. You're winners as well. But, mate, honestly, I thought about you a lot the last couple of days, LB. Nothing weird.
Hopefully no tents were pitched. You know what I mean?
I was laying in bed and thinking, LB. No, I was actually thinking about it. Thinking about your conversation with Sam last week and how much he fought for the starting lineup that was out there, essentially. And... Isak starting, and it didn't quite work, but loads to go through today with Liverpool in crisis. We're going to be talking about hot water gate, with Arsenal turning off their hot water to Atletico Madrid, and a lot of people getting very angry about that. We're going to be speaking on the situation with Liverpool at large, as we say. We're going to be talking set pieces as well, and Sky Sports stealing my flow again, talking about killing the game today. Can't believe they're doing it, but we've got to talk about that with Jamie Carragher. I've never seen someone bitch and moan so much in my life. Just say what you want to say, which is you hate the fact that Arsenal are better than your team right now. We've also got a big debate about Donnarumma, and I want the Chelsea fans to get involved in this as well, because another great weekend for that man. So loads to go through. Champions League stuff to preview as well. But like, subscribe, and share. If you're watching over on X, come and join us right here. There's a link. And that's great watching us on X, but come join us on YouTube by clicking the link. If not, then give us a little bit of a retweet, please. That would be amazing. But where to start? I mean, I feel like we need to kind of start with Liverpool, LB. What are you saying?
Well, I think the context from last week's show needs to be applied to this one, because obviously last week was a great show. We had a great debate with Hussam about the starting 11. And I think that I was justified in what I said. I think I was right. I think that everything that we spoke about the starting 11, that I think Slot got wrong again. I think the starting Isak over Ekitike is a talking point that needs to be spoke about even more. And I think Hussam... all these comments last week it obviously wasn't like a mad debate, but it was a pretty interesting one. But I think I was right. And I maintain that I was right. I think Liverpool are better with Ekitike over Isak. I think Isak links up the team better. I mean, he come on, within a couple of minutes of him being on the pitch, he's already had a shot that just went wide past the post. And I think United were more scared about playing Ekitike. He looked more lively. He looked more match fit. It looked like he was linking up with the play better. So, yeah, I think McAllister, we spoke about him last week. I said he needs to be dropped. I maintain that. I think McAllister does need to be dropped in that team. So, yeah, to be honest with you, I think that my opinions have been vindicated from what I said last week. I'll tell you one thing that I was wrong on. Well, not wrong, but something. Well, yeah, I was wrong. Last week, if you remember, Terry, I said the only way, if United win the game, it'll have nothing to do with Amorim. And I do think Slot got a lot of stuff wrong. However, I do have to give a little bit of praise here to Amorim, man. I think the way he set the team up was very, very good. I actually thought the decision not to start Sesko at the beginning, I was like, what is he doing? But I actually think that worked very, very well. And listen, I don't think it was a Amorim masterclass. I'm not going to go that far, but I do think he set the team up very well. And I think he did very well. I do still believe that Slot is largely to blame for the result, but bit of praise to Amorim as well. Bit of praise to some of the United players, as much as it makes me sick to say that. But yeah, man, Liverpool. I just think it's simply Slot, man. I'm gonna be real, and I know a lot of people want to do like it's easy to blame the manager. It's easy to blame the manager, but I genuinely do just think it is the manager. I think if he puts the team out there that I think he should be playing, I think Liverpool will be fine, but he's not doing it. So I think it's just the manager.
Yeah. You know what? I can see where Sam was coming from when he was saying his point. I know where he's coming from. But the point that we were saying as well is that you're choosing to play an out-of-form striker or a striker that ain't match ready, whatever you want to consider it, for a striker that is in form and match ready. And what we were saying as well to him is, look, maybe by the time that Isak gets up to scratch, you're going to lose points. They've already in that match weekend lost 3 points of ground to the top and to Manchester City. And you know, how many more points do you sacrifice to Isak getting up to scratch? Now we don't know this for a fact. We don't know how many games there'll be. But let's just say it's gonna take Isak 4 games to get up to scratch, and they drop Ekitike for him. They might drop 8 points in that, and then it's Salah, adios. So I can see. I think it's right what you said, LB. You've got Ekitike here who's hit the ground running. Why are you replacing him for? I absolutely get that. You do want the better striker to eventually come in, but if Liverpool are going to go far, which their own fans would expect them to, they're going to have 50, 60 games in the Premier League, or in all competition. There'll be time to bleed Isak in.
Yeah.
And you've got Ekitike there now going, well, what have I done wrong? I've actually got you to where you are now. My goals are where you are now.
Yeah.
And
Well, Aaron, yeah, on that point, yeah, and I know these two players are very different to Isak. I'm not stupid, yeah. But if you look at Sesko at Man United, right, you look at Kerkez at City, these are two players that our respective fan bases want to be starting. Yeah, I know Terry and United fans will probably be like, yo, get Sesko in the team. He's our, 60, 70 million pound striker. We need him in the team. And obviously a lot of City fans are saying, get Kerkez in the team. I know Kerkez had an injury, but even before that, he wasn't starting games. Sesko hasn't started that many games. They're taking their time with him. What I don't understand about Slot is why is he so desperate and to get Isak in the team right away? I'm not saying that Ekitike is going to be the striker for Liverpool for the next 5 years or until the end of the season. Yeah. My point is for the here and now. Yeah, the here and now, Ekitike should be starting now. And then, you bleed, like you say, you bleed at Isak into it. And then maybe in 2 months' time, 3 months' time, when Isak's fully match fit, then he can take over. I don't understand the rush from Slot. And maybe this is because he's an inexperienced manager.
No, do you know what, LB? I think you're spot on. And Sesko not starting at the weekend through me ended up being the right decision. But when he first joined the club, yes, I wanted to see him start, but I heard the manager say he's not match fit yet. He hasn't even settled in the UK. There was also a story that came out that said he felt a little overwhelmed. There was this moment of fucking hell. This is a big club compared to where he'd been. And he bled him in. That happens. It's normal. Lemaine's joining Man United. The whole process of signing him, and I never believed what Man United were briefing the media, but I read between the lines. We were looking at Donnarumma, couldn't get him because he chose you. We tried to get Emi Martinez, but the deal couldn't be done. But we were also looking at Lemaine's. I never bought the story that Lemaine's was seen as a young number 2, whilst the other two were looked at as number 1s, whilst at the same time Fabrizio kept on saying, but United aren't that convinced they need a new number 1. And why are we talking to it didn't make any sense. I felt what we were doing with, you can't sign Emi Martinez, you can't sign Donnarumma and pretend they're a backup. They're two bigger names. What you can do with the Lemaine's is bring him in as a 2, bring him in as a backup, give him a few games on the bench. Then at the right time, at home to a Sunderland, you bring him in, less pressure because the fans are like, well, he's a backup, he's a youngster, let's get behind him. You give him a big fanfare, you make a big song and dance and go, he's the new number 1. The expectation on his debut is so different to that of someone who's a backup coming off the bench. And I think that, again, Isak can't be bled in as a backup. He's too expensive, he's too well known. But you're spot on. You don't have to be desperate to make him work day one. And I think there's almost this element where Liverpool they've almost fallen into the kind of 007 with VS, now it's Ben 10, but into that kind of banter thing. Oh, we've got to get him in and scoring straight away because everyone's going to start questioning why is he on the bench? Why have he spent this kind of money? Where he hasn't been ready. I know he scored against Southampton, but he doesn't even look. And I know Slot's got issues with his system. I know he has. But his general play doesn't look sharp. His first touch isn't there. His striking of the ball seems off. Part of that is also handling the pressure now. I mean, no disrespect, Newcastle. Playing for Liverpool was a different kettle of fish, a different pressure. You've got the media attention. You've got all the hate and bile he got for leaving you the way he did. It's handling all of that. And I remember Sir Alex famously at times, Rooney, you've had a bad week. You know, you've been caught with Granny again. We're away at Everton. You ain't even in the squad. But he did. He sort of did these things. And sometimes you can be at the club a long time. Sometimes you can be new to a club. It's knowing when to play your players and when to say you're going to sit out for a few weeks. There seems to be, and the reason I bring up the 007 stuff is there seems to be we've got to prove he was the right signing straight away. You don't. You in reality, stop bowing down to social media. You've got 2 to 3 years, maybe 2 years with that kind of money to prove you're the main guy. and he's going to have that ample opportunity. Right now, I agree wholeheartedly, they have to be starting Ekitike. He has to be the guy in the team because Isak doesn't look right. He just doesn't look right at the moment. And often it's when a player doesn't look right where they can overwork, overtry. That's generally when injuries happen, bad injuries sometimes. Michael Owen was a great example in 06. Weren't quite fit, shouldn't have been with England, overplayed, overtried, done his cruciate. And that kind of ended his career really at the very highest level after that. They've got to be so careful here, Liverpool, with the domino effect, the butterfly effect, as it were, they could create. Because, and it isn't just him, Wirtz is very similar. Kerkez, why is Kerkez starting games? I know Ahmad and Bumo are good at dribbling at players, but right now, Kerkez looks like a fish out of water.
But it's not even defensively, Terry. His crosses into the box were shocking, man. Yeah, like, obviously, like, listen, Kerkez, is he ever going to be the best defensive fullback in the world? Maybe, maybe not, yeah. But, like, the one thing that you expect from Kerkez is a solid delivery into the box. His crossing was shambolic. Maguire was just clearing it out with his foot every single time, man. So if he can't put a cross in, what's the point in him being on the pitch? Because he ain't the best defensively. Yeah, and then obviously Van Dijk had a bad day. You know what I mean? Oh, it was all around for Liverpool. It was just a seriously bad day, and that's obviously 4 L's on the bounce. Yeah, and they've got to sort this out rapid, mate. Because let me tell you, someone with experience last year, yeah, 1 win in 13, it spirals out of control real quick. I'm seeing today that Liverpool players are having an emergency team meeting. I saw the same things from City players last year.
I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor though as well about that. I heard that it's being hosted at Anfield by Lee Gunner. Emergency meeting FC. It's his brand. They have to use it for him. So big up Lee for hosting that. Right. So
they did this site out quick time. But like I say, I don't necessarily like look at the player. And obviously, yeah, we can see the players, yeah, blame the players or whatever. But I think fundamental problem is the managers just getting it completely wrong, man.
Sam, thanks for sending your viewers over here to us. I appreciate that,
mate.
What
are you boys making of Salah?
Salah? Well, I'll get a positive down first. Sorry, I muted you, mate. You kept on banging your desk, making a noise. Go on.
Yeah, so with Salah, I'll just go on Salah because obviously everyone knows my hot take was that Arsenal could potentially go unbeaten, but my other one was that Salah would have a poor season, and I just feel like generally when you get to that age, 33 or 34, right? When you first have that poor season, it always comes off a great season. I'll take you back to Thierry Henry in Arsenal's last season at Highbury, the year before he left, and we got to the Champions League final. We got the Golden Boot. He was unbelievable. He got to the World Cup final. He was the best player in the world, arguably. The year after we moved into the Emirates, he just wasn't the same Thierry Henry. I think he got like 10 goals. He did have injuries, but he wasn't the same. He went to Barcelona, and he was still good. He won loads of trophies, but he wasn't the Thierry Henry that everyone knew from Arsenal. And I feel like with Salah, at the back end of last season, he was not performing, but they had already won the league, so it didn't really matter too much. And obviously, I know he had Ramadan and all of that, but I just feel like he's lost a yard of pace. People talk about the contract. I don't think it's anything to do with that. Whether you're on 300 grand a week or 400 grand a week, I don't think it makes him perform any less than he had been performing. But I do believe that he's lost that's just that spark and that little yard of pace that you will lose at 33, 34. Mohamed Salah is heavily reliant on his pace. But he also had moments last season where he would be quiet in games. He would have a lot of moments.
You think Salah reliant on his pace?
I do think so, yeah, for sure. He's rapid. Really? And I also think that I don't think
he's reliant on his pace at all.
Him and Trent had a telepathic understanding, and I think he's missing Trent for sure. I do think he relies on pace. 100%. The balls that Trent used to give him.
No, I don't see that one bit. I don't think Salah relies on pace one little bit, bro.
I think he does. He's one of the fastest players in the league. Well, he was. I don't think he is anymore.
I don't see it. I don't know if I'm tripping it, but I don't think the pace is anything to do with Salah, bro.
I mean, you don't think you don't think that he's pacey, or you don't think his pace helps him that much?
Well. Positive Dan's saying that basically, like, he relied on his pace. That's what he said. His words.
No, it wasn't his only. Obviously, Salah was good at everything. You know, his finishing was outstanding, but he did rely on pace. The balls that he used to get from the balls from in behind from Trent, he used to rely on his pace to get onto those balls. He's no longer receiving those balls anymore, and he just looks He looks a shadow of a
No,
player.
I
of what he
disagree,
was.
man. I don't think Salah relied on pace, bro. I don't think that's no. I never looked at Salah and when he relies on pace. I don't see that one bit, bro.
Do you reckon though the it's not just a Salah thing with the thing of Trent? It could just be a Liverpool thing with Trent. But I do get you're making some half decent points. At the end of the day, with Mohamed Salah, he is eventually going to apologize. That's me. He is eventually going to have a downward spiral. Now he might just be having a little blip. Yeah, let's just get that right. He might just be having a little bit of blip, just like what Liverpool having now. We don't know. He might go on to score another 20 goals in the next so and so games. We don't know that. But also, there is obviously scope to say that, look, you know, he is aging. It's going to come at some stage, isn't it? His decline, like every player that's ever played the game, age does unfortunately come with a decline at some stage. Now, I'm not saying that this is Salah's decline. I'm absolutely not. However, we don't know. It might be a little blip, but I reckon there's something that you're saying. I don't 100% agree with you about the Salah pace thing, but I know what you're saying. What I sort of more think it is probably a case of like missing a bit of Trent and, you know, being bogged down with the whole sort of mood at the minute at Liverpool. You know, I think it has sort of bogged him down a little bit, and he's not being able to do them things he was doing last season. You know, which I believe is his biggest strength. You know, cutting in and putting the ball in the back of the net. He's done it a couple of times, but you know, like you said, when you're coming off the back of a season, his best ever season, by the way. I think it was goal scoring for Liverpool. You know, you're going to be judged, and maybe as well for that, at the age that he is now, having his best ever season or goal scoring season for Liverpool so late makes it look even worse now that he's older, you know, because the drop off looks a little bit bigger because he's coming back off of that sort of big scoring season. If you kind of catch my drift there.
I said at the start of the season, I was on this same show, and all of you three all said if Liverpool get Isak, it's over. They're guaranteed that the name's on the trophy, hand them over the trophy already. And what I always stressed was that Arsenal had only lost Thomas Partey, and Liverpool, God rest his soul, had lost Jota, who was a key player. They lost Nunes, who people laughed at, but he scored some pivotal goals. I remember Arsenal dropping 2 points to Villa and them going to Brentford and him getting 2 late goals and winning them the game. He might have only got 7 goals a season, but them 7 goals helped. And then obviously they lost Trent and they lost Diaz. Diaz has been outstanding for Bayern Munich. These are key players that they lost. And they've gone and spent 435 million, and everyone was raving about Frimpong. I said, how do we know he's going to be any good in the Premier League? Some people having the cheek to say he's better than Trent. I was like, you're absolutely crazy. Now he can't get a game. You spent 435 million, but you've got Conor Bradley starting as right back. And also their best players are aging. And like we say, Van Dijk, he does not look the same. He looks a yard off it now, Van Dijk. That first goal that Mbeumo scored, I don't know what he was doing. They were giving him too much credit in commentary. Oh, maybe he's not seen him. He didn't know if he was coming or going. And I remember Rio Ferdinand last season with Fergie was immense. Moyes came in, he was terrible. The drop-off sometimes is just massive. And then he went to QPR, and we all know how bad that was. Not saying Van Dijk's drop-off is like that, but there's definitely a drop-off. And I think Liverpool could be scrapping for a top 5 finish.
Do you know what's interesting? I don't disagree on Salah looking nowhere near his level. I don't think it's because he got a new contract. I don't think it's even that he's aged out too much. It could be. Some players just kind of hit a window, their body changes. The one thing that I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when they went on that started this losing run, and obviously we had the international break, and I'm going to say it again. It's motivating yourself to do back-to-back titles. It's hard. There's a reason that in the Premier only 2 clubs have managed it. And those 2 clubs were managed by, in my opinion, the 2 greatest managers of all time, in Pep Guardiola and, of course, the brilliant Sir Alex Ferguson. And Pep's brilliant as well.
Jose's done it as well.
Jose did it as well. My brain. Sorry, I apologize. You're right. Jose did it. But Jose, when he did it, was also, and he still is now, he's past his best, but Jose is still in that conversation as top. You know, he's in that conversation for GOAT.
Yeah, of course.
He's in that conversation for the greatest. So 3 of the greatest managers of all time have done it. You go back into the previous teams that have done it, and you look at sort of Paisley's teams. Again, one of the greatest to ever do it. I don't.
Herbert Chapman.
I saw it. Yeah. You know, my memory don't go back that far. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but no, you're right. And I look at these things, and I think, I assume that's an Arsenal manager.
Yeah, statue of him at the Emirates, 1930s.
I saw a video today of someone saying that Slot's the problem and Slot's got to go. Lots of managers have come into the Prem won it in their first season, and been sacked the next year. And they spoke about Carlo Ancelotti came in, won the double, lost his job the next year. Conte comes in, wins the league, lost his job the next year. Carlo Ancelotti comes into Leicester, wins it, and gets sacked the next year.
Ranieri.
Sorry, not Carlo Ancelotti, Ranieri. But I look at that and go, I feel like it's really narrow, a really narrow view. I think that Chelsea sacking Carlo Ancelotti is one of the biggest mistakes that Roman Abramovich made. Yes, he didn't retain his league title, but it's really hard to go back to back. I think Chelsea may have been in a better position. I know they won the Champions League a couple of years later, so it becomes debatable. But let's not pretend like Carlo Ancelotti isn't capable of winning a Champions League. Sometimes you've got to ride through these storms a little bit, because history shows us retaining a Premier League title is very hard. Only 4 teams, it's only been done on 4 occasions. Yes, United did 3-peats twice, and City have done a double and a 4-peat, and Chelsea did the double. But it's only been done on 5 occasions, it's separately over a 30-odd year period. 30 years, it's not been done that often. And I look at it and think to myself, that's what's also going on here. The players put everything into winning that league campaign. They've done it. Even though they've bought new players, I think there's almost like a slight lack of motivation. And it might only be 5%, but at the elite end of sport, 5% is everything.
Well, would you not think, though, Terry, though, just to come in on that point, would you not think that that club has never retained a Premier League? You know what I mean? Would you not think the motivation would be there to retain the Premier League for the first time?
You would think it would be there. I agree with you.
They've only won one.
But it's...
Oh, 2, isn't it?
There's this kind of element of you want it to be there, but is it there? That's the question I'd love to. I would love to be a fly on the wall, and I'd love to have seen what preseason training looked like. I'd love to have seen what they were like after a loss last season versus a loss this season. What they're like after a win last season versus a win this season. I'd love to see if there was any behavioral differences that when you're really close to it, you might not notice, but there is something in that for me. And I always remember what Pep Guardiola said about Fergie when I think it was years back. I don't even know if Pep had joined the Prem at this point, but he was asked a question. It must have been when Fergie retired. That makes more sense. It was like, what is the one achievement of Sir Alex Ferguson's that you look at and think's the best? And he went, just forget all the trophies for a moment per se. He was like, it's the fact that he managed to keep a team motivated and challenging for 25 years. Yeah. He went, keeping a team, even when they're not winning, they're challenging for 25 years. He went, I don't understand how he did it. There was that one, obviously it took a few years to build the club up because we were broken. But once we started challenging, there was that 1 year where we came third. I want to say that was probably 2004 when you went invincible, where we weren't really at it. Yeah. One of Chelsea's years. I think we weren't quite in the race, but we were still a solid Champions League team in terms of qualifying. And that for me is part of it. And I don't have the answers because I'm not a psychologist, but I do think there's an element there. It's twice now Liverpool have won a league title. And that's why I'm saying I'm not just looking at Slot and going, oh, you got to move him on. Klopp's team. And Klopp, yes, he got the injury to Van Dijk. And yes, he got more injuries to centre-backs later on in that season. But this man was playing central midfielders at the back for like months and losing loads of games. As soon as he put his central midfielders back in midfield and played the young centre-backs, they went on one of the most amazing runs and got themselves a Champions League spot. And I just felt that season...
Alisson scoring that header, innit? That was that year, wasn't it? Yeah.
And there was almost this sense of relief. We've done it. We've got to the top. And then there was a drop-off. And then panic set in when things started to go wrong and the season fizzled out. And there seems to be... And this is why I would say to people, yes, I think Slot's making mistakes with players he's picking. I think he isn't addressing the fact that 2 games running, Cucurella mentioned it, and Mbeumo mentioned it, De Ligt mentioned it. We know to attack the fullbacks of Liverpool because there's a big space between them and the centre-backs, and United exploited that brilliantly. That's on Slot. But I also look at some of these players, like Van Dijk, like Salah, the chances they're missing.
You said it, Terry, innit? Van Dijk started all 4 of the games because that's usually their excuse, innit?
I use this, and it's probably you guys can probably find that your legendary centre backs, the likes of Company and Adams, and I just went and had a look because there's always these.
Yeah, always, I know, yeah.
The greatest ever, and I just went and found a stat that's true, which is that at no point in their Man United careers did Vidic, Rio, or Yapstam ever start 4 defeats on the bounce. And I just put that out there as a little bit of a joke, but we've got to be fair and balanced in these things. But I think there's a bit of bloatedness at Liverpool at the minute, which they've got to shake off. I think there's there's something missing. And I don't just think it's tactical. I don't think it's they bought crap players and flopped. There just seems to be something not quite right. I can't put my finger on it, but I don't think it's one thing. I think it's a few different bits at the same time.
Do you know what, though? I don't buy the motivation thing, because you look at their summer, right, and then you think at the start of the season, they renewed Van Dijk and Salah. That's not lack of motivation. Them two players committed their future for the next 2 years to Liverpool, rather. They then spent £400+ million on attackers that haven't won the Premier League. You're saying that Isak's not coming in and being motivated to win his first Premier League with England. Copy and paste Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, who's a winner who should be carrying on wanting to win. So I'm sorry, there are other factors, and I'm not gonna go on that. But motivation to get a second title, to win it again, should absolutely not be a factor for these men.
It shouldn't be a factor, and I'm not suggesting that the new signings don't have motivation. The issue that you have here, you see this in boxing quite a lot, but it's easier to pinpoint because it's one person. So George Groves, I think, was a great example. Got beat in 3 world title fights against brilliant fighters, wins at his 4th attempt, defends it. As soon as he lost, I noticed in him, and I think he spoke about it since. Once he achieved it, he'd reached the top of the mountain. Yes, he defended his title, one defeat to his title, and he went, gloves are being hung up now. He didn't have that desire to become a multiple weight world champion and go on a great defensive run. He kind of hit his goal, and the motivation kind of drifted a little bit. You see this a lot in sport. Now, the issue with the team sport is Isak might have 100% motivation. Kerkez might. Allison might. Gravenberg might. But if 3 or 4 players are satisfied, content, it's a team effort.
Is that down to the manager then as well? Then like you said, with Fergie, that's a brilliant example when you said about Fergie. He kept them guys motivated for two spanning 3 decades. If that's the case with Slot, man, you can't do it over 2 seasons.
Okay, I hear you, but at the same time, I won't use Pep and I won't use Fergie as the benchmark because they're too good. I think I'll give you an example. Messi should never be a benchmark. Fergie shouldn't be a benchmark. They're outliers for me. Yeah. I look at it and think, if you actually look, that retaining a league title has only been done, we worked this out on a previous show, 21 times in 140 years. This is why I'm saying, even if Slot is slightly to blame, and I know a lot of get rid of him, bring somebody else in, you might still be better off keeping him for 2, 3, 4 years, and you might win more because you might bring in managers that are not as good. The thing is that most teams, so factually speaking, most teams don't retain their league title. Doesn't mean they shouldn't be criticised. It doesn't mean we shouldn't say they're playing badly. But I think there is, I mean, we featured it earlier on today. I did laugh on our first show. There are Liverpool fans spitting on their own phones out of anger right now. There are people abusing Mo Salah in his DMs. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, I do feel there's a bit of an overreaction to a poor start to the season by their standards. At the same time, what is it down to? I think it's a combination of things. I'm just not someone that ever believes, it's because I spent too much money, or it's because Mo Salah don't care anymore, or it's because Arnie Slot's been found out. I think there's elements of truth in all of them, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Can I just throw this out there then? I'm not saying I believe this 100%. I'm just saying I'm going to lob it out there. And Sam, don't get upset. Don't be a little baby. What I'm saying is this: do you think if they carry on,
become Irish?
It's a little baby. Roy Keane, innit? Come on, he's been your captain. Come on, wake up, mate. You know what I mean? What are we doing here? What's going on? If this Liverpool carries on, if this Liverpool carries on for another 5 or 6 match weeks, and they're really still dropping points, etc., are we looking at Liverpool possibly in transition? Just their players, unfortunately, are just aging. And their players are just gelling in, but not quite gelling in just yet. Just going to lob it out there.
Maybe. And I think that you could be right. And this is why, look, if you sack a manager and someone new comes in, you'll never get your answers. I always felt with Carlo Ancelotti at Chelsea, I loved when they sacked him. Because, yes, they fell off a bit the following year. But I loved it when they sacked Jose. In that he won back-to-back league titles. And then a third of the way into the 3rd season where United had improved, they brought in players he didn't want. They got rid of him. And I remember cheering. I don't know what you boys did, but I think it might have been in like the November time of 2006. So it might have been a bit later. Or maybe, we won the league. I think he'd done 3 seasons.
I was happy when he went.
I was fearful. Chelsea still went on to win trophies. I'm not saying they become a crap team. But the day Jose left Chelsea, I felt so relieved as a football fan. Again, if Slot was sacked tomorrow, I'd actually celebrate it. I'd celebrate it. I don't think that sacking Slot.
It depends who they got, though, innit?
Yeah, it does depend who they get. It does depend who they get. Jose was probably seen, barring Fergie, as the best in the world back then. So I felt like nobody else they were going to bring in was going to be, and they haven't. I know they won the Champions League twice, but they've never had a league manager in the league make Chelsea as good and as consistent as Jose, and that's been 20 years. And
apart from when they got him back.
When they got him back, yeah. And I think that's the thing for me. There's just this element of sometimes I get the need for a knee-jerk reaction, and I think when you're a manager of Bayern Munich, when you're Real Madrid or Barca, I think it makes more sense. PSG, because those teams invariably are the only guys that win their league titles. So you can kind of make those changes and it doesn't really impact you as much. I think in England, with so many teams with money, so many teams that compete for players, so many teams with top managers, sometimes, yes, criticize, look for the problems, ask for players to be dropped. But I do find now fans go straight to this sack a manager thing. And I'm like, hang on, the man won the league a few months ago. I think you may be being a little bit premature with this one.
Yeah, I think if you want him sacked, I think that's a bit mad. But yeah, I do think he's 99% to blame.
What did you think about the subs? Because them subs were crazy. When I saw him do that, I thought, whoa, what's he doing here? Remember the 60th? I can't remember exactly who they were, but he made them all in the 60th minute, and he had about 5 attackers on it. He had Wirtz in midfield.
But Wirtz didn't go in midfield. Wirtz drifted out to the right-hand side. That's what they did. But essentially, he went to a 4-2-4, and he had Hugo Ekitike and Isak on together. Salah was on the pitch along with.
There was no midfield essentially, though.
There wasn't. They went for it, but in fairness to him, though, this is what I was defending.
60th minute, though, that was crazy.
I know, and we went on to score. Gary Neville, in fairness to him, called it absolutely right.
He called it spot on.
But they had chances to go ahead 2 or 3 times before the equaliser, and they had chances after we went 2-1 up to score. Where I'm not blaming Slot is the abundance. So another fact that has come out of all of this, Liverpool last season created the most amount of big chances, clear-cut chances, of any team in Premier League football history since the record begun in 2015. So we don't know. In the last 10 years, last season, they created 150 big chances, so it works out about 3.8 per game. In the last 4 matches they've lost, they've been averaging just over 6. So they're almost averaging double the highest amount ever created by a football team in the Prem in the last decade, and they're missing them. And this is why when I look at Slot, there's problems. But I'm looking at the chances that, especially Salah, Isak, in these last couple of games have missed. Gakpo, I know he hit the post, but he's still missing the target at the end of the day. And I feel like that first one, I would be expecting a player of that level to score with the space that he had. That's where I also look at the players and I think, how are you guys missing so many big chances and big opportunities? And that's where I do look at the players as well. But look, viewers, I'd love to get your views and opinions on this. Just do some of your super chats that have come through here. Spill the tea, Lou. Big up yourself. Says a happy 5 months, you hooligans. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate it a lot, Lou, and hope you're good. And make sure you go check out Lou's channel as well if you want to hear dulcet Irish tones. Terry, Arsenal have 0 trophies in 6 years. How are they scary? I haven't mentioned Arsenal today, my friend. Do you want me to contextualize it again? Is that you've paid, so I will. I said Arsenal was scary when they were leaving Man United in the mud, and it scared me that we were losing our mud brothers, who often got more stick than we did at the time. Of course, I play on it a little bit now and have some fun with it. When I see people, we're going to feature it later in the show, when I see people cry about things that have never been moaned about in football before because Arsenal are good at it. And that's because Arsenal scared them, because they like shitting on Arsenal, and the better Arsenal do, the less they can do it. If you don't like it, leave. But if you want to keep saying the same nonsense and super chatting, please spend more. Get your money up, bruv. Thank you, my G. Thank you. Isak and Kerkez went on strike at their old clubs. Stop going for players who are willing to go on strike to leave their old teams. They are divas. You're on mute, Al.
I think the only bad little bit of that applies when you get that player, it's great, isn't it? So they want to come to your club. It's just when they want to leave you, isn't it? You're like, oh damn, yeah, it just come full circle, isn't it? So
a good friend of mine, she started dating a guy that I knew. They weren't from the same friend circle, but started dating him. And the way they got together, I don't judge people, but they got together. They both had partners, and they were cheating, and they got together. And watching Jamie, I love you, bruv. You're a good friend to me. But Jamie was a serial cheater. It's just what he was. That's his life.
Just hotting him up live on air. I hope that is that his name.
His name's Jamie. I'm not gonna say.
If you're gonna do it, just make sure she's better than the one you've got at home. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, it's his thing, right?
I'm
So
joking.
anyway, right? They got together, and none of us we're friends. We're like, listen, we weren't cool what you both did, but you have friends, cool. It was 18 months or so later. We were out at a night out, and this young lady, whose name I won't mention, because she's married to somebody else now, and I would never want him to know. She came out and she was down the dumps, and I was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" She was, "Jamie." I said, "What?" She goes, "I've caught him cheating." And a good friend of mine, Phil, just turned around and said, "None of us are giving you any sympathy." She went, "I know we got together." He goes, "No, it's not because how you got together. It's you've got with someone that we all told you was a serial cheat, and you've been cheated on. Why are you crying?" I feel that way about players that go on strike. Don't get upset if they go on strike to leave you, knowing they go on strike. It's one of them ones there. But big up Jamie if you're watching. Hope you're happy and settled. He'll never be settled down. Jamie will never be settled down. He's one of the. He'll be in the old people's home, moving from room to room. Gladys on one night, Joan
Jamie,
the next.
if you're listening, I will buy you a beer, mate. Don't worry about it. You keep going from chica to chica. You've got a pint from me, my brother.
I love it. Jezza here says that Liverpool don't lack motivation. The old title-winning core is gone or aging. We don't yet know how good Slot really is. He faced no adversity and inherited a strong squad. The real story is transition, not hunger. That's kind of what you've alluded to, Aaron.
Yeah, that's it. I actually agree with you, Jezza, to be fair, mate. And it's a similar thing that I alluded to with Sam last week, when all I was sort of saying is he sort of bit at the chomp at, how can you say we're under no pressure? I didn't really mean that. I just said no one put them under enough pressure. And definitely Arsenal didn't put under enough pressure. And it actually rung true what I said this weekend, because last weekend I said, really, it's the first time, this season or especially from last season, we'd won. And it was like, okay, Liverpool, you were 4 points ahead. All of a sudden, now us winning has put us ahead. It's your job now. You didn't do the business. And then obviously we had that. And then look what happened again this weekend. Arsenal done the business, and I know we'll get into that, so I won't change the run of your show. But we beat Fulham in the early game on the Saturday. Over to you again, Liverpool. Do your business on the Sunday. And yet again, you didn't. You didn't face that last season. Almost at any stage, no one.
That's what you were saying last week, basically. Yeah,
exactly right. And it's sort of happened again. Now they're feeling under pressure. Like, wow, we've got to win. You're playing Manchester United. I'll put my hands up and think, do you know what? I thought Liverpool were going to beat Man United. I think a lot of people did.
Everyone thought that.
I did. Yeah. But do you know what? Look, it didn't happen. It was down to you, Liverpool. Go there away against your biggest rivals, or at home, sorry, and do the business. And you didn't do the business. It's as simple as that. Last season you did. This season you're facing that extra pressure, not no pressure, that extra bit of pressure. And sadly, you're not dealing with it for Liverpool.
The thing is, the players that they lost as well, though, I feel like no one really made a big thing about it. Imagine you took Timber out of Arsenal and you took Saka, because Diaz was their best winger last year. He's got like 15 goals. Imagine you took them two players out of... Well, Salah is obviously Salah's the best player in it, but I'm saying Diaz.
Diaz is not the best winger, isn't it?
He's not the best winger. They're not the best wingers. Obviously, Salah's the best player. My bad. But obviously, Diaz was one of the second best winger, right? He was phenomenal last season, and he sets the press for Liverpool as well. He sets the tone, and I just feel like he was such a big miss, and everyone just kind of went, Diaz is gone. Doesn't really matter. Obviously, Trent, they all knew that was a major miss, but to lose two of your starters, and then to lose two squad players as well. I just think that everyone just kind of looked at it and thought, it doesn't matter. We're getting Wirtz. How do you know Wirtz is going to do well? How do you know? He's come over from Germany. Not all players that come over from Germany hit the ground running.
This here from Ola. Ola here says that Slot's new first-team assistant is at fault. Looks after the defence. Also, Arsenal old boy. He needs to be sacked. Salah always falls off at the end.
I hate this when people blame assistant managers and stuff. Like, it's just like, bro, what are we doing here, man?
Oh, Gabriel Hines is doing quite well, isn't he?
Like, what are we doing, man? Just blame the manager or blame the players. We're blaming second managers and assistant managers and
the kit man, the kit man got it wrong. The chef's food's too cold. Well, there are Arsenal fans that do blame that on Arteta, to be fair, the food being cold, but there we go.
Yeah, crazy.
At this rate, hashtag Arsenal Bottlers FC will finish 15 points ahead. There really is zero excuses for Sunday. It's clear the squad lack chemistry and energy. Look, I think there's loads of things though as well. Like, and I know I pressed Sam about this last week, and I just wanted to get a straight answer from him. But United also did some things that were good, and we're playing a lot of long balls at the minute, and we're looking to win the second balls. And we're not really talking much about United today on the show, but the manager's adapted. It maybe hasn't adapted in the direction people wanted, but instead of trying to play from the back, which wasn't working, and we're getting caught, he's saying there's a long ball. Let's see how it works against Brighton. Personally, I'd let Brighton have the ball and I'd try and counter them. I'd rather not try and play through them and lose the ball and get caught. I did hear someone say that today. They were like, "Oh, you can't though. The arrogance of United. You've got to try and be the better team." And I'm like, "No, we've got to try and win." I don't get this whole. Exactly. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. Like, I'm just someone. Imagine a boxer getting into the ring and you're the home fighter. You've got to try and knock him out. It's harder. He's got a harder punch than me. I'm going to cover up. I'm going to box sensibly. I'm going to keep out the way of that fucking haymaker. People are just mad. I hate that sort of stuff. This here from Patrick says, "I thank you for the big donation, bro." He says, to play devil's advocate, Slot may argue that playing Isak and Wirtz, etc., is to get them up to speed. You can't adapt if you don't play. I agree. He needs to play informed players, but you can't get experience from the bench.
Okay, there's a couple of problems with that. One, the player that's most fit out of Isak and Wirtz was Wirtz, and he was benched and Isak wasn't. And two, why'd you have to rush it? Bro, the season's like 70 games long if you take all competitions. We're in October. They've just lost 3 games on the bounce.
Didn't he come out and say that he's match fit now? He came out and said that, Slot.
If he's match fit, I'm very worried.
Yeah, he did.
Slot said, Slot's words were that now his pre-season is fully over, and now is the time to judge Isak. That was his words.
I'd be seriously concerned if that's the case. What I'm saying? I don't think Isak's anywhere near full match.
Look at Torres. Torres was unbelievable at Liverpool. Went to Chelsea, just didn't happen. These things happen in football.
Yeah, I can't see him being fully match fit, but if he is, I'd be worried.
He doesn't look match fit to me. Listen, I get where Patrick's coming from, playing devil's advocate and why you want to do it, but I do get the point on not rushing. And all the young men watching, when you're with your other half, and of course it's all consensual, rush it, man. There are times when you want a little bit of wham bam ham, but there are times when you've got to set the mood. Like the intimacy starts much earlier on in the day with a little touch and a little glance and a little tease and a little wind up, and you build this up over the course of the day. You don't rush it. That is how it's done correctly, young men. Like, you don't have to rush everything. And you're right, Slot, maybe he's gone for a bit of a quickie and it's backfired.
That usually happens when you're trying to apologize or make up for something. Yeah, otherwise, come on, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, but the best way to do that is to go out and do something and just make the day nice and be a little bit more courteous and gentle, and the little touch here, the little touch of the hair or the back of the hair, all these things. By the way, I need to make sure I say this again. All consensual, of course. And you just do all these. You got to say this nowadays, don't you? Do you know what I mean? So you do all these nice things. You build up to the day, and you just get it done. And by the end of the day, there doesn't even need to be a conversation about forgiveness. You get jumped on. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to take your time. You've got to take your time, young man.
Listen. This is what was on. I'm doing it later. I'm messing up. We're going out. I was like, just give her dough. I ain't got a clue where we're fucking going. I'm probably going to hate it, but I'm getting my brownie points in. So make me fucking happy later. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
So what? Are you going to miss the game, Aaron, or what?
Yeah, I didn't realise I said yes to this day. Sorry. You know what I mean? I didn't realise. She went, "Oh, we're going out." I was like, "It's the Atletico game. What are you talking about?"
See, my missus booked things around Arsenal games. She has a calendar of an Arsenal player, and she knows not to book anything when Arsenal.
Mine don't care about me.
Boys, I've got to tell you this. The Don's apprentice in the comments said, "I get what you're saying." He basically said, "But Arnie Slot just spat on his fingers." Sorry, that's done me. No moisture at all, man. I had to spit on his fingers. O'Hara, we'll come back to that in a moment. We've got a clip on that. Social media fans keep crying about Yoro and Mainu. Listen, I wanted them to start at the weekend, especially Yoro. He didn't. We won the game. I'm not going to complain about it because I want to win football matches, and we played quite well, and both came on the good in their role. Some will, some won't. What riches do you have to have? What riches do you have if the issue is starting Isak over Ekitike? No excuses. 500 million spent. Get on with it. He's had enough match time now, is what Hamed says. A lot of people think truth in that. Viewers, do me a favor, please, and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Also, if you're watching us on X, please give us a retweet, but you can come and join the community here, joining with the chat by clicking on the link in that post. I know there's a good 800-900 of you watching over on X. So if you want to join us over here, click on that link right now and come across. Obviously, set pieces have become a new thing in football, and last night, Jamie Carragher was fuming on Monday Night Football, moaning about so many teams now taking long throws. And he had a pop at the bigger teams that are doing it and that have become more direct, saying that the bigger teams doing it, stop it from being an embarrassing tactic. That's also been doubled down upon by Sky again today, and Jamie O'Hara spoke, attacking Arsenal in the process. Let's take a little listen here.
Right, as a classy central midfielder in your day, Jamie O'Hara, are you happy to see long throws come back in?
Can't stand it. I hate it. It's killing the game, especially the Premier League, the product. I mean, it's like watching non-league at the minute, some of the football I'm watching. You know, Spurs at the weekend, territory football, you know, head it out. Danso comes up, gets the tower, starts throwing. It's so one-dimensional. And Carragher's right. Like, I get it. Some of the lesser teams like Brentford, you got a long throw in it, you can cause problems, you can maybe create a chance. But the top teams doing long throw-ins. Like, I can't believe what I'm watching. It's all down to Arsenal. Arsenal started this. Arsenal started the long throw, the set pieces. You know, they've killed the Premier League in terms of, you know, fluid football and enjoyable football.
But Arsenal still play good football.
No, they don't.
They've just tried something different, which is working.
Yeah, and now everyone's run with it. And Arsenal are the best at it. Right? You can't get away from it. Set pieces, throw-ins, Arsenal are the best. But everyone's copying what they're doing. And they can't do it like that. I'm seeing teams do long throw-ins, Tom. You ain't even got long throw. It's not even reaching a 6-yard box. But everyone's trying to do it. It's so one-dimensional. What do you get from a long throw-in? Right, you pack the box out, you throw it, and you might get a flick on, and you create a chance. But it's so boring to watch, and it's so non-league. You know, it's the Premier League.
What are we saying here? I'm going to go to Dan first on this. I mean, Jamie Carragher last night, speaking crazy, and it actually also blamed the PGMOL for Arsenal scoring so many from corners by saying that you can't foul from corners anymore. That's why Arsenal are scoring so many goals from it. Moaned about long throws. By the way, Jamie O'Hara is stealing one of my new slogans of killing the game. But I'm moving a bit David Brent there. I'm only messing. But blaming Arsenal for so many teams becoming, this is across the board, you're seeing this now, for being more direct, being good at set pieces and doing the long throws. What do you take on Arsenal being slammed for going top of the league, essentially?
Same old boring pundits that said the same thing. That said when we were playing great football, but only finishing the top 4, we'd lose to the bigger teams. Arsenal soft underbelly. Arsenal think it was Troy Deeney, no cojones. Arsenal weak. Arsenal are boys playing against men. Now we're men. Now we're physical. Now we can score from set pieces. And listen, Manchester United won the greatest ever Champions League final, bar maybe Liverpool's one, off 2 set pieces. Didier Drogba scored a set piece. Chelsea fans will never forget that header that he scored in Munich, right? What's wrong with scoring corners? What should we do next time we get a corner? Go, no, we don't win the corner. Let's kick it out of play. It is ridiculous. Sky are clearly running out of things to say. Obviously, it was international. It wasn't even international weekend, was it? I don't know. Anything that Jamie O'Hara says, Jesus Christ. Honestly, he's just a bitter, bad pro, ex-Wolves player that's just bitter against Arsenal. And just anything he says, I just cannot take seriously. Seriously. Carragher, I haven't seen it. I would love to see the clip of Carragher because I actually rate Carragher as a pundit. But if he's going down that alley, then he's clear. He's very riled up that Arsenal are above Liverpool. And I think he knows that Arsenal are probably going to go and win the league now.
I'm not going to lie as well. I think I might need 5 minutes to reboot because 30 seconds of Jamie O'Hara talking has just melted my brain. I don't think I've got any IQ left. I think I just need to restart. The geezer makes you laugh, yeah. And he's got somewhat of a point, yeah. Premier League isn't as entertaining and exciting as it was 2 decades ago. However, that's the same pleb that was saying, oh, yeah, we've got the Frank engine now. He's in and he'll sort out all the defence. He'll get us working hard as a solid unit. Now he's slagging him off. Helmet. What are we doing here, man? Listening to that geezer. Jesus, it's painful. Probably what some of the chat think listening to me, but, you know, it is what it is. Don't take away from the fact that Jamie O'Hara is an absolute pleb, isn't he? Absolute pleb. What are we doing here? Oh,
I hear that. On what Jamie Carragher said, this is what he said about we can't show the other clip because there's footage in it, but we can show this one about the throw-ins.
You think the success that he had through the manager now, Keith Andrews, in terms of long throws, we highlighted that before the game, but I'm at a situation with long throws where I understood teams in the bottom half of the table, or maybe fighting for against doing long throws because they never had the quality to get the entries into the box. Because obviously you need to get the ball in the box, give yourself a chance to score goals. And I used to actually want to see the long throws from those teams against the top teams and see how a Liverpool would cope with it. Or a Manchester City who've maybe got ball-playing centre-backs, but can they go and head the ball? And I used to like that dynamic in the game. I am frustrated with the fact that I feel every team this season has taken a long throw at some stage.
Look at that leap, Jamie.
Yeah, you see the change, you see the numbers here, and it's off the scale. And I'm thinking the reasons why. And the reasons why because some of the top teams are doing it. So then it almost feels like it's not something to be embarrassed about the way it maybe was in the past.
It's saying now that the top teams are doing it, it's something you shouldn't feel embarrassed about. I don't know about you, LB, when you hear this. Like, football has definitely changed in the last year. Your own manager said that football is going more direct. He has become more direct in how he plays compared to 2 or 3 years ago. What do you make of the kind of punditry on this, almost referring to this type of football as embarrassing?
Well, for me, I don't think there's any right way of playing football. Right? And this is very similar, to what people said about Pep. People said Pep ruined football. Pep ruined the Premier League. It's not Pep's fault that other people copied him that can't play football. Yeah, it annoys me when I watch relegation teams in the Premier League try to play out from the back. It frustrates me. But why are they doing it? Why? Because they just try to copy Pep Guardiola. Why? Because he's been successful, the most successful manager in the last 10 years in this country. So that's what they're doing. It's not Pep's fault. Pep doesn't manage all 20 teams. And it's not Arteta's fault, that other people are copying him. People are copying him because it works. Now, do we want to see it? Well, that's up to you. Some people like that old, you get probably some guys in their 60s and 70s who are fucking loving it. Some people don't want to see that. Some people want to see nice techie football. And I do think there is a bit of a problem in the Premier League. I do think it's a bit slow and I feel like it's not very technical. But the Premier League is moved away from like the tiki-taka to this powerful sort of like box-to-box players. Even my own sporting director said in an interview this summer, he said, our signings going forward are going to be a lot more physical, a lot more strong, because football doesn't stay the same. It develops and it moves and it evolves. And we're moving away from pass. And we're moving towards a more direct way of playing football because football evolves. People have worked out how to play against tiki-taka. You just get the ball long and get some rapid players to run through the team. Yeah. So listen, for me, do I want to see every team throwing the ball in the box and doing long throws and playing direct football? No, not really. But that's just because I don't really want to see it. Is it wrong? No, it's not. There's no right way of playing football. The aim of the game is to win the football match. If you think the best way of doing that is to put the ball into the box and play Allardyce ball, then fair dues. Who's to say that that's wrong?
I'd love to see the stats on it, though, because I haven't noticed Arsenal doing it any more than any other team.
Well,
I really would love to see the stats.
That's the average. Arsenal are doing it. I agree with what you've said, LB. And look, I look at it this way: when my team were good, have you boys ever watched football with your friends and you when in talking? Me and my friends would often this conversation maybe came up a few times a season minimum. If you could change one rule about football, what would it be? And I always feel, depending upon how good or bad your team is at that point, what you would pick changes. So at that stage, United always had 11 men behind the ball. Everyone was in a low block, or we used to just call it sitting back. And I used to say, I'd love to create a rule where you could only have up to 8 of your own players in your own half. And I only wanted that rule because that would have benefited my team at that time. I didn't take into consideration that I didn't think about it from the other team's perspectives, that if imagine all those sides that weren't as good as Man United back then could only have 8 players in their own half, we would have pummeled, all the big teams back then would have pummeled those sides. There's nothing wrong with it. Football has evolved again. And I remember having these conversations on this platform when everybody wanted marauding fullbacks. Everybody wanted fullbacks that were great at attacking. And I said, well, yeah, I get you want that now, but in a couple of years' time, there'll be a different type of fullback. And then we saw it. And Pep and Arteta led the way in the Premier League by playing centre-backs at fullback. And they changed things up that way. There was a time a few years ago where everybody wanted the quintessential small, techie number 10s, the David Silvers, the Ozils of this world. Nobody really wants players like that at this particular moment. Number 9s almost went out of fashion and are making a comeback now. Giggsy said something the other day that he wants to see teams use wingers on the right side, so the right foot on the right, left on the left, and players just get to that byline and cross it in first time. And I think you could actually go for a period where you win a lot of games doing that, because how many teams and defenders are training day in, day out now to defend against wingers who cross on their strong foot on the right side? Everybody's training to cut back, which means everyone can set and then they cross the ball in. And this is all that's happened, is Arsenal, along with a few other teams, have looked at the situation and gone, what hasn't been done for a while? Long throws. What hasn't been done for a while? X, Y, and Z. Let's give it a go and let's see if we can score some goals. Let's see if we can make that work. And they've found a benefit there. They've found a way of scoring. And on the set pieces, which we can't show the clip because they show footage, and you know what Sky's like. They don't allow fair use policy. They're absolute scumbags. But there's now blaming for years, and hopefully you boys heard it the same way as me back then. I used to get annoyed that defenders could legitimately rip people's shirts off and stop them scoring goals. I don't know about you boys. It used to frustrate me they could be so physical. That's gone now because VAR's there and teams are scoring from it. And what I heard from Jamie Carragher yesterday is essentially saying it isn't really fair that Postecoglou lost his job because his team couldn't defend it because the PGMOL stopped you from being able to foul. I've then heard people go, yeah, Arsenal wouldn't score half as many goals if the PGMOL allowed there to be fouls in the box. And I'm sitting, they didn't use those words, but they've just said the PGMOL stops people from being able to, the defenders from being able to stop each other. It's like, well, that's just a fancy way of saying the PGMOL stops you from fouling them. And there's more goals from it. My view is this. Well, buy players that are better at crossing the fucking ball and you'll score from them as well. It's not Arsenal's fault that Liverpool haven't scored from a set piece this year. And I think this is why I don't like the pundits. Because like I said earlier, when I wanted that rule changed about men in their own half, it's because I wanted it to benefit my team in that moment. I think Jamie is being a Liverpool fan here and not a pundit. He wants to see an area that Arsenal was strong at scoring removed and an area so that it levels things out with Liverpool. For me, it's such bias in that. It's unbelievable. And I don't want to see that from professional pundits. Jamie O'Hara, he's a troll. I know he's a Spurs fan, but everything he says is shrouded in bias, and I don't want that. This might sound like gatekeeping. That's fan content. That's what we do. We kind of banter each other. We're biased. We love our teams in this way. That's what we do. Seeing the professional pundits behave that way, especially people like Jamie Carragher, who spent years, as you said, Dan, slagging off Arsenal for having no backbone, not being good at the ugly stuff. He also said, I don't know if you saw it Super Sunday, said in the last 2 or 3 games when Liverpool got back to drawing in against Palace and against Chelsea, they should have sat in and been happy with a draw. The same guy saying that Arsenal were cowards and a disgrace for not trying to win all their away games. I just don't like the duplicity in the punditry. If you have a stance, stick to it. It can't keep changing based on who's winning and who's losing. That infuriates me.
Look, Huck to a Carragher, he contradicts himself all the time, doesn't he, when it comes to Arsenal? He just does. There's numerous sort of cases of it. And I think this is just one of them things where you just go, do you know what? Just accept it is what it is. Would I like Arsenal Football Club to rely on a goal scorer, say like a Man City and Haaland, a bit more than maybe, say, set pieces? Yeah, because it does look pretty. You're probably going to get more goals from open play. But in the same note, I'm not going to slag the way we're getting goals, because I've always thought, you know what? And I say this at work and in life, if you can add a few strings to your bow, add them. And by that, I mean, if you can be wicked at set pieces, buzzing. If you can actually make these long throws, cool. They are bloody boring to watch. But it's working for Arsenal so far. I'm not going to 100% condone it, because I would prefer us to have, say, Kerkez scoring a bit more from open play rather than having to rely on these.
But like you say, it's a tool, isn't it? It's a tool.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than
Right.
if your
Yeah,
team
exactly
is
right.
just set up, to score off of set pieces or off of throw-ins and that, fairs. Yeah, I completely understand if you feel, and you know what, some Arsenal fans might feel that way. Fair dues. But if you're using it as a tool, if you're scoring goals and you're playing football, but you've got that weapon available to you, then what are we doing here, man?
Yeah,
I find it exciting. I find it exciting when we get a corner. I don't know, like that Gabriel goal against Newcastle. That was just, I was ecstatic with that. That was almost a bullet header. Just, I don't know. There's something about it, scoring them bullet headers from corners that I
just
personally
feel,
love.
like, bro, I pay £150 a month, for Sky Sports, and this is what they're coming out with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is exactly it.
Crap, man. Like,
Again,
why not got some like top ex-pros on there, talking to me about tactics, all this kind of crap, I'm listening to Jamie Carragher talk about long throw-ins and that. I'm listening to Jamie. It's like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here, mate?
And if you want to break
tacticals on there.
No, mate, exactly. That's just what people don't sometimes realize. Maybe where they're, I know. Listen, I use Satanta Sports out of the Ukraine, and they pay $3.99 a month. But actually, they don't get any punditry with it. You just literally get the game 10 minutes before, and then it ends straight afterwards. So maybe again, if Sky could give me that option where I pay $5 a month for all the games, but I don't get to listen to the punditry, I wouldn't moan as much. But £150 a month, and there's no insight. It's all, and it's duplicitous. That is the thing for me. There's no insight. It is just what will run. And listen, Laura, who does a lot of the satirical stuff.
That's so funny, man.
She does them every day now, and it's so funny the things that she comes out with, because you just know there is an element of truth to this. And the maddest part is this: when Jamie sits there, O'Hara, and says Arsenal don't play. I remember good football against Newcastle. Nick Pope just made 3 or 4 really good saves, but equally, if Fulham didn't sit 11 men behind the ball for 90 minutes, and I know, listen, Pep's teams have gone through this. If everyone who played City didn't sit 11 men behind the ball, then maybe it wouldn't just be 80% possession to 1 and a lot of ball moving from side to side. Maybe if Fulham, and we know Fulham was so scared of Arsenal. I know people don't like the word scared and Arsenal being in the same sentence because they're sausages. But at the same time, even in the last 5 minutes when they were losing 1-0, Marco Silva's screaming at his players going, why are you guys not attacking? They were too afraid to come out and leave space because they knew what you guys could do to exploit it. How Sky are ignoring that and going, long throws are bad, set pieces are bad. Well, maybe if teams didn't sit back so deep, maybe if teams weren't so anti-football, but then you'll get people going, no, sorry, teams don't have to come out and attack. I agree. The same as Slot moaning that we didn't pick Benjamin Šeško and we went with a tactic that he didn't expect. It's all part of the game. We're all trying to win football matches. Sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it's good looking. But you can't condemn Arsenal for the better part of a decade for not being good at the ugly stuff. And then when they're so good at playing the game, everyone sits back and is defensive and become good at the ugly stuff. You then can't sit there and say, this is bad for football. This is bad for the Premier League. And it's what O'Hara said, this is bad for the product. No, what's bad for the product is the PGMOL and their inconsistencies. What's bad for the product is the lack of top-class punditry that you have. And even like Carragher on Sky versus Carragher on CBS. Why is he so different?
Oh, mate, I was just going to say this. Terry, I was just going to say this, bruv. I swear to you, you just took the words out of my mouth. He said on CBS, Atletico Madrid, when he was doing a game on them last year, I love them because they're different, the way they play. Some people don't like the direct style and the defensive. I love all the dark arts of the game. And then he comes on Sky and he hates it all. He's 2 different people when he's on CBS and Sky. Honestly, bro.
I bet people. Go on, mate. You go.
No, the thing is, I think with Arsenal, I think quite a few people might agree with what I'm about to say is, granted, I think we all want to see attacking football, But if you'd have said to me at the start of the season, if you say to me now, 8 games in, look, Arsenal are going to bore the shit out of you for the next 30 Premier League games. You're going to lift the title at the end of it. I'll go, yeah, absolutely. 150%. I will take that in a heartbeat right now. And that's what you've got to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is a little bit like meh. Do you know what I mean? But if it gets the job done and it gets me being able to go to the Emirates and see Arsenal lift that bloody Premier League trophy for the first time since I was 15, 16, I'll take it. I will take it. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think that should be as sort of scrutinised.
All thanks to Super Mick Arteta. He saw it coming early,
don't
didn't he?
start setting me in a trap, Daniel. I'm not gonna fall for it, mate. Come on, mate. I'm too big and ugly for that. Come on. I know what you're
Super Mick
doing,
Arteta, mate.
Well, the one thing about, I mean, I wouldn't even say Arsenal not trying to attack. One thing I would say is no one who says all that matters is winning can moan about how you win. That's the one thing I would say to people is if people that have said winning's all that matters and then they're winning ugly, that there can't be complaints, there can't be problems with it because winning's all that matter. And I do get you, but Arsenal are attacking. It's just teams sit back. And how do you think tonight's going to go? I'm going to LB first on this. How do you see tonight going? Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, hot water gate. They turned the hot water off yesterday. Love it.
It's Harambol at its finest, isn't it? I'm glad City are playing, man. Although I say that, it'll probably turn out to be some mega game. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a great spectacle. Yeah, I can't see it being an entertaining game, but who knows? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's a tough one to call because obviously both teams usually play like conservative football and that. So you'd obviously put your money on a 0-0.
I'm not so sure about that though. I don't think both teams do really play that. I mean, Atletico Madrid beat Real Madrid 5-2.
No, but in a game like this Champions League, like I don't know. I think it's a very interesting game. Like it's a bit annoying that City are playing at the same time because as much as like it could be a horrific match to watch, I also think it could be a very interesting game to watch. So I don't know, man.
I think teams that are good have great defensives. Yeah, they get labelled as defensive teams just because their defense is great. So then suddenly you're a defensive team, which it's just not true. Jose used to get it. Real Madrid scored the most goals ever in La Liga. And then he wasn't defensive then. Even that Chelsea team, 04-05, was not a defensive team with Robin and Duff.
Bro. Yeah, but it sounds like you try to like justify it. Like we kind of know, yeah, that like Arsenal don't play the most exciting brand of football, and nor do Atletico Madrid. Now, just because Atletico might have scored 3 goals against Real Madrid, don't mean they play this mad. Yeah, don't mean they play this like beautiful football. That's the point I was making.
But I think Atletico have changed though. They're not. He has changed, just tweaked the style a little bit.
I think so. I watched Atletico this year. I think they play a little bit better, but it's still probably going to be a pretty dead game, no?
No, I don't think it will be. I think it could be
a bit end-to-end, really exciting match. Yeah.
I don't know about end-to-end. It's definitely going to be a game about tactics, but I think it might surprise a few people.
Man. No, I'm just saying it's going to be a cagey
game. It might surprise a few people because there's quality players all over the pitch. This is the thing. There's quality players. That Alvarez is someone that I'm fearful of tonight. That's for sure. I'm going to go for Arsenal. I think he's meant to be back. I'm going to go for Arsenal 2-1 and Victor Gyökeres to get the winner and get a big goal.
Listen, I'd like that, man. But do you know what, as well? This is quite a big game for Arsenal. Not like blockbuster massive, but do you know what it does do in terms of Champions League qualification, going on multiple fronts, if that's what you think we can do, is if you get the win tonight, we've got Bayern Munich at home next in the Champions League. If you get that win tonight, I'm not saying that I'd be happy with a draw. I want Arsenal to win. But you can then go to Bayern Munich, Bayern Munich come to us in the next fixture and go, do you know what? We've got 2 options here. Because of the win tonight, we can have a little draw against Bayern, or maybe even, and I definitely don't want this, but if Bayern Munich was to beat you, because you've got them 3 points now, it softens the blow. So it's quite a big opportunity for Arsenal Football Club to get the business done, get 9 out of 9, have that Bayern Munich game where it's not imperative you win to seal early qualification. And then the fixtures that we've got, with all due respects to the teams, they're not Atletico Madrid and they're not Bayern Munich. So I just think it's a real good opportunity for Arsenal Football Club to get 9 in 9 and just make that season a little bit
Send a statement to Europe.
Yeah, because, I know it sounds silly, but, if you qualify for Europe and you've got 1 or 2, qualify for the next stages, sorry, you know what I'm saying? And you've still got a game to play or 2 games to play. Not only have you swerved them extra 2 games, you might be able to rotate your squad. And I don't know how the fixtures line up. I probably could have had a look. But you might sort of be playing someone like an Aston Villa away before you play your last Champions League game. And you're able to then rotate and rest. So it is a really good opportunity for Arsenal Football Club to just, if you want to go for on multiple fronts or keep the squad fit and rotate, etc.
So you play, for instance, so your last 2 Champions League games are interesting. So you're away at Inter Milan on the 20th of January. then you play
Kierat,
Man United. Then you play Man United at home. You play Man United at home 4 days later, and then 4 days after that, you're at home against Kierat. So again,
who's after that? Who's after that? If you still
the
got
game
it up?
after the game
After
after
the Kierat,
the game after that, you're away to Leeds United.
There you go. So Kierat, you're definitely he's going to rest players in that game anyway because God knows who they are.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
the sort of point I'm getting at. Don't leave it.
But again, we also know. I think LB, you said this before about the Champions League that we kind of know what you need to qualify this year. Where last year where teams didn't know, and I think that you got Atletico tonight. Then you've got
who City got tonight.
Yeah, but you've got hang on a second. But then you've got Slavia Prague, right? So the point I'm looking at here is that you win tonight and then you beat Slavia Prague away. You could be 12 from 12, which then means you play. Then you've got Bayern Munich at home,
Club Brugge.
Yeah, and then you've still got 3 games. You've got Club Brugge, you've got Inter, and you've got that Kirak or whatever they're called. So for me, when I look at that, I just think to myself, I agree with you, Aaron. Get the wins on the board now. Get those wins done. Get them over. Because what is it last year to get into the top 8 last year? I'm just having a little
16.
look. Yeah, 16 points. So if you could get yourselves on 9 and then 12 points before you even play Bayern Munich, once you're on 12 points, are you going to get 4 to 5 points at your next?
Exactly. Like you want to aim for 17 points, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if Arsenal win today, go 9 points, like bro, not like barring an absolute collapse, like they pretty much secured it.
You've put yourself.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like if you win tonight, you pretty much secured top 8. Let's just say it right. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Even if we drew today, though, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Well, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but a win tonight just takes the pressure.
A win's
off.
perfect, yeah, of course.
Aaron says like you can go Bayern, you can, bro. Some would even argue just like rotate a little bit at Bayern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't take the.
They've got Bayern at home though. They've got Bayern at home. I mean, what you can actually do is rotate. You can rotate away at Prague. You can rotate maybe. Bruges are pretty good, but you can.
Bruges are doing flying right now.
What you want to be doing is getting into those last 2 or 3, knowing that you're pretty much secure. Means you can play your full strength team in the Prem. Rotate a bit in the Champions League, and that was when the old Champions League format. I always wanted United when we were good, get qualified in the first 4 games. The last 2 games became dead rubbers. I didn't even care if we lost. Play some kids, rotate, and be strong for the Premier League. And it's similar. Let's do these super chats here. AMT says Atletico Madrid are not Fulham. Could be good. Yeah, I'm excited about the game. It's the only thing with having 6 Premier League teams in it because I cover them all. Trying to watch 3 games at once is fucking honestly. To like do my match reviews, watching 3 games at once is a fucking madness. Carragher has to behave on CBS because of TT. Well, especially ever since he said that thing about TT and Katie.
Oh yeah.
I thought you was on about the whole leg thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't Brendan Rodgers had been sacked. What was that about?
Petr Cech and John Terry won Chelsea a Champions League playing the most haram ball I've ever seen in my life. Nothing wrong with it, man.
Well, I've actually said just quickly. I think Arsenal have got. They've obviously got a good chance of winning the Prem, but I think they've got a pretty good chance of winning the Champions League, man.
I agree. I think
they've got like.
So we're going to win the double then, yeah? Premier League, Champions League double.
Well, who knows? Maybe, yeah. But like,
build a statue. Wait, Aaron, does Arteta get a statue if he wins the Premier League, Champions League double?
I've already answered this question.
I want you to answer it again.
Do you know you're trying to bait me into going into the Arteta thing? Do you know? Why don't you just let me? Why don't you just let me be happy, bruv? Do you know what I'm saying?
Vamos.
I mean, if he did do that, the debate I would love to see Gunas have, if he won a Premier League, Champions League double, I'd want to know whether he becomes a bigger legend than Wenger. Just as an outsider, it's not. I don't think it's for outsiders to call. It's an Arsenal fan debate, but I would be intrigued in that conversation.
Terry, we'll have the discussion in May.
You hope. Analytics in the NBA, people complain about too many frees, small balls, etc. Teams are looking for an edge to win. Why waste a corner if you can generate a goal-scoring opportunity? I don't know about you boys. Whenever I see my team take a short corner, it nearly always pisses me off because I just think because they're just ridiculous. Get the ball into the. I know it's old-fashioned and it's very pie and mash, but just get the ball in the mixer. Just get it in the mixer. How do you play techie football when every team you come up against plays a low block, 11 behind the ball, including when City came to the Emirates?
Go on, Rob.
Rob lad. Set piece talk is so boring, but it holds water as criticism. We aren't scoring enough from open play. We shouldn't ignore that. Just because we are winning doesn't mean there isn't problems. Liverpool as example. Tony, I think this is it though. You can criticize not enough goals from open play without slagging off the set pieces, and I think that's the being good at set pieces is a positive. It's the more from open play that I think should be focused on. But again, that's what LB's talking about. I think LB, I don't put words in your mouth. Break down things that aren't going well. Give us some tactical reasons how they could score more, what they could do. I think Amorim did a really good piece on Kerkez and the direction he takes the balls in a few weeks ago on CBS. And it's like, great, I learned something from that. And I can use that myself as a fan instead of just, I hate set pieces bore me, should be embarrassing. I mean, what the fuck's going on? This here says, if everyone's copying Arsenal like ducks, what does that say about fraud Arteta and his tactics? In my opinion, we're watching the next great manager take form before our eyes, redefining total football.
Yeah, well said.
Why do you have to say that?
Well said.
Dan answer that one. That's a Dan question. That is. Yeah.
Well said.
That's a Dan question.
Look. We all said that the game's changing. Arteta was the first one to see us changing, because in our first title race, we were playing fluid football with Gabriel Jesus. It was some of the best football I'd ever seen. But at the end, it didn't work, and it left us too open at the back. So he's gone out, Tony Pulis style, 6-foot players all over the gaff, and now we're just bullying every team, and we're going to bully our way to the Premier League.
We've even got Rory Delap settings going on. Do you know what I'm saying?
You look at they're just monsters everywhere in our team, all of them.
Do you know what you guys should do if you do win the league? Again, just a troll. Is you should get the Premier League to have Rory Delap hand you the trophy just for a laugh, just for a giggle. Just like today, I would love to see Arsenal score a set piece goal today. You know what the celebration has got to be? You got to go stand in front of the Atti fans shivering, cold showers. Just a bit of shit. I like a bit of shit assery in football, man.
Like, if you win the FA Cup instead of like the King and the Misses and all that shaking your hand at Wembley, you got Tony Pulis with him as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go.
Corners are typically generated from attacking play, so should teams not look to maximize their corner kicks? Yeah, and I don't disagree with what Gary O'Neill said on Monday Night Football. You guys should watch the segment. He basically said they're harder to defend now because you can't drag people about, you can't hold on to their shirt, so it's very hard. Even when it's 9 versus 4, it's easier for the attackers to score now than ever. Which is
that penalty that was given. What game was it?
Chelsea. No, that was a Palace versus Bournemouth. Palace,
I can't believe that was a penalty, though, man.
Yeah, wow. Maybe a little soft. That was great. I don't know if did any of you boys watch that game on Saturday?
I watched it on Match of the Day.
Honestly,
the miss at the end from Mattel.
Both games on. Big ups to Tanta Sports. Honestly, that Palace Bournemouth game, I do think Sky are dumb sometimes. How that wasn't a televised game at some point this weekend is beyond me. I mean, the fact it should have been Monday Night Football. There was no need for Monday night to be. Why are we putting West Ham on TV? Have you seen them play? That game would have been amazing. Oh, hang on. Terry, you are wrong. 4 teams actually went back to back. You forgot we finished second back to back. Okay. I thought, would I get wrong? O'Hara saying Arteta is not a top 10 best managers in the world is the dumbest thing I've heard in a while. What is a manager supposed to do if every top manager teams are playing low block against Arsenal? Would you say Arteta's in the top 10 best managers in the world right now?
The thing is, when you ask people this question, right, you know who they come up with? When I say name me better managers, they come up with people like Mancini, who I do my show with, Dan, Negative Dan. He was like, he came up with this whole list of who he'd replaced Arteta with. One of them was Mancini, and he started listing off the trophies he won. And I went, 2012, mate. That's 15 years ago. He was going Serie A, 2006. These managers, they're done now, mate. That time's over. Oh, there's no way in hell. Nottingham Forest have just appointed Sean Dyche over Mancini. Honestly, Jose Mourinho. Arteta is a better manager today than Jose Mourinho.
Yeah,
overall, nowhere near.
I agree today, with you. Yeah, I agree with you. No, I don't think anyone. I don't think. I don't know about you, Dan, Aaron. You wouldn't pick Jose to replace Arteta, would you?
Well, I mean, if he don't win anything this year, he's got to go with someone, isn't it?
No chance.
Anyone else, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? Now, come on, though. Look, like at a minute, just let Arteta do his thing. He's got to be here. He's not going to be sacked. If he wins the league by playing this way, whatever, I'll be happy. But if he doesn't, then he's got to go, and someone else has got to replace him. It's just fact, isn't it?
He also has the record.
Stop trying to get me to
Aaron,
talk about Arteta.
Aaron, he also has.
I'm in a good mood. I'm going to get into going to be good later. You don't stop pissing me off.
Arteta also has the record for most goals scored in one season for Arsenal and the most wins.
Yeah,
Did he win a trophy?
I can lob the other side. The other side.
Did he win a trophy? Positive, Dan.
No, he's going to win the trophy this year.
No, but did he win a trophy when he broke the records?
No, he didn't win a trophy.
Oh, that's mad.
This is just going to win it this year. And then I'm just going to go back in that cycle here. Do you know what I mean?
Would you rather win the Premier League and win no records, or would you rather win records and win?
No, that's what I'm saying. So he'll have the records and he'll have the Premier League.
But
so when
he's not got the Premier League.
Not together.
Yeah, but this is the thing about this is the thing about the trophies, though, because on a real level, Aaron, not trying to upset you, so this isn't.
Yeah, I'm in a good mood there.
Amorim has won league titles. We all agree. Amorim has won more trophies in his career as a manager than Arteta, yes?
Yep.
See.
I don't think any Arsenal fan, even the ones who despise Arteta, would want to replace him with Ruben Amorim. So what I'm saying is, I don't think it's a case of, I think you can be in the top 10, top 15 managers, active managers that people would like at their clubs, even without winning any of the major trophies. Because some that have won the major trophies that are still active, we all know are past their best. There are others that have won league titles and won a league title in Scotland. You wouldn't say he's better than Arteta. So I'm just making the point that just having trophies doesn't necessarily mean you're better.
Yeah, also, at the same time, like positive Dan, like obviously you're just saying, right, that Mancini's not better than Arteta because he didn't win he's not won a trophy since like 2012 or whatever you said. But Arteta's won one FA Cup in 6 years and has spent £1 billion. So, like, you know what I mean? We could flip it. We could easily flip it.
Well, he spent. You saying he spent £1 billion. You can say that at the end of the season that he spent £1 billion because he's only just got the players now.
The last 6 years of football now, eh?
No. But I'm saying 750 million he spent and only won one trophy. He spent £1 billion, so we now the last 300 million is this season.
The thing is, though, with that argument that you're making there about they've not won trophies for a while or whatever, they've won trophies. Arteta's
they've won trophies, but they're finished. They're done. They're done at it. The time is up.
Okay, but how do we know that Arteta will ever win trophies? You don't have a crystal
ball.
Well,
look, exactly. We don't. But right now, today, he's a better manager. I can guarantee you tomorrow. Tomorrow,
he's not won anything.
If Arteta lost his job for whatever reason, he would have a queue of top teams. Where Mancini wouldn't. He's been a national manager and managing in Saudi, right? Let's be real. If tomorrow another Premier League team, let's say Chelsea, didn't have Maresca and they had a choice to get Mancini, Arteta, who do you think they're going to go for?
I just think what you've just said though can easily be flipped. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Dan, can I ask you a question as well? Yeah, if Arteta didn't win anything this year, well, I think we'd all be gutted as Arsenal fans, obviously, because it means another unsuccessful season. Would you consider his tenure a success if he got sacked this year with no trophies?
I would say it was successful to a certain point, yes.
But what though? Like based on sort of what?
No, because I think he would have created the team. Would you not say we've got one of the best teams in Europe?
Oh, I think we are a very good team. We're right up there, absolutely. But you know what,
probably the best team
you know what some of the best teams in Europe do? They show it off with silverware. And as it stands, especially in the last 5 or 6 years,
if he goes close,
no one can argue with.
If he goes close again, doesn't win something, and he loses his job, I'll always be thankful for what he's done for the team, for what he's done for our club to bring us back there. And if someone else has to come in and win us the trophy, and so be it. But I'll still be thankful to Arteta for what he's done for our club because he's took us from a laughing stock to now a team that's feared in Europe and in the Premier League.
I can always get that point, by the way. I'm never 100% totally shut down what you've just said. I do get that. There's a lot of variables and factors in. I'm just like, whatever. But the fact of the matter is he wouldn't have won anything at that point. And that would, for me, constitute a failure. You know, and I get it. Yeah, it's second 3 times in a row. Would you say Irola has Irola been a success at Bournemouth? Yeah, but this is Arsenal Football Club. Come on.
I know it's Arsenal Football Club.
Bamboozling around with that nonsense.
But no, but Arsenal Football Club, what does that mean?
We're not
Because we've never. Wait, what does that mean? Because we've never won the Champions League and we haven't won a Premier League since 2004. We've never even retained the Premier League.
And we still.
So what does that mean? We're Arsenal Football Club. We know, yeah, we're Arsenal Football Club. We're a big club, but we haven't won the Premier League for 20
season and we
years.
still haven't won it. And the scenario that I said would have then allowed him in his 8th season if he didn't win it this year.
But we're coming very close, and now we're top of the table, 3 points clear.
That's cool.
And we're the
That
favourites
very
for the
close
Premier
makes
League.
you happy. Very close doesn't.
It doesn't make me happy.
Look,
but I just see us winning the Premier League. I've said it from the start.
I'm buzzing for you. I hope we do. Listen, we've got this year, and I'm happy with Arsenal and Arteta this year. I'm happy. After 8 games, we've looked all right. We're at the top of the league, all well and good. That is a 8-game bite size. What about the other 152 games the last 4 seasons?
Well, he's got the best record. He's got the best record. Arsenal manager. He's got the best win percentage. You're asking about the other games.
I want LB's record of like 4 Ps and winning trophies and trebles and same with Manchester. They're the records.
Yeah, so the question always is, what if he doesn't win anything? I'll flip the question. What if he does win the Premier League?
Buzzing, let's somersault. Go again. Boom.
So
what do you think? I'm going to sit here and just go, I can't believe Arteta's won the league. I'm going to be out there with my top off, swinging it around, steaming.
I do think there's certain other YouTubers
I'm going to be buzzing.
In this domain. Perhaps some people that you've perhaps even been on their shows that definitely would be pissed off with Arsenal. You know, I've told you before that what that one guy says to me, and he says to me, "Oh, but we're going to win the war." I'm like, "What war, bro? We're all Arsenal fans." He goes, "When we don't win the league, like I'm going to win the war." I'm like, "Bruv, what are you talking about? We're all Arsenal fans. We all want Arsenal to win, whether you're Arteta in or out." But what the thing is right now, how can you be Arteta out? Even if you wanted him out at the end of last season, fair enough. But now when he's top of the league, get behind the man. Why would you want Arteta out and be slagging him off when he's got your team top of the league? 3 points clear, doing well in the Champions League. We've played 11 games. We've won 9 out of 11 games. Like, what more do you want? So why would you... So, do you know what? Someone commented on my video today. I did scoreline predictions, and someone commented, Arsenal to win 3-0. Then hopefully Arteta gets sacked. It'll be the best day ever. And I thought, so you think we're going to be Atletico Madrid 3-0, but then you want Arteta to get sacked? I just think people, they watch other people on YouTube and their head gets fried and they come out with this crap.
Well, you're referencing all the other people and like not even listening to me, are you? Do you know
Sorry, Aaron, mate. Sorry.
Well, there you go. So you're just going around, all of these Arsenal fans are this and all of that. Well, I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying you are.
So what are you talking about then?
I'm just talking about other fans. This is what a lot of fans do.
Who cares about the other fans? I care about what I think.
And what do you think?
And it's fairly obvious what I think. I think I'm very happy with the small bite size.
Can I ask you a question, Aaron? I'll ask you a question, Aaron. Will you be as happy with Arteta if you win the league? Not happy as an Arsenal fan that Arsenal won it. Will you be as happy, as praiseful, as glowing towards Arteta if you win the league than as you will be angry, potentially venomous towards him if you collapse and bottle it?
Why would I be venomous? I'll probably expect it. I'm not venomous if you expect it, is it? It's just like, well, he's got to go, isn't he? And I think a lot of Arsenal fans would, come on, let's just all be serious here. If it doesn't win anything again this year, when do we just stop? Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really want to go into this because I say this every day.
But that's not the question I was asking. I wanted your,
weren't we?
Because I wanted your opinion. That's why I asked you for it. Because I feel that I totally agree with you. Whether you're Arteta in or Arteta out, if you win the league, you should be celebrating it. What I'm intrigued about was your view on, because I think this is what some Arsenal fans will do. So I'm going to give you a broad through, and I wanted your opinion, as you said, because you care about your opinion. I think some, if you win the league, will do the whole, yeah, but it's only 1 in 7 years. We need more than that. I think some people will kick that can. They'll celebrate as Arsenal fans and gloat and wind up rivals, but they'll still have a hard-on for going at Mikel Arteta. By the way, as a rival, as an outsider watching it, I do enjoy it. I find it really funny to watch the mental gymnastics going on. And I think there are some people that if you get a 5-point gap, 8-point gap, and don't win the league, I think there'll be far more venom and anger toward Arteta than there would be a humbleness and I was really wrong about this guy. He's given us one of the greatest moments ever. are backing him. Well done, Arteta. You're the man. I think there'll be much more chance of that. And I'm intrigued to know why people think and feel that way. That's all from a fan perspective. And I'm not even saying it's right or wrong. I'm just stating I'm intrigued by it. But we've got to get there first, I suppose.
I think I would be happy with the man, whoever he may be, who wins Arsenal the Premier League. That's all I want. That's all I want is Arsenal to win the Premier League. That's that.
The other...
If Arsenal wins it this year, well done for the 25-26 season. Buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. What's wrong with that? Do you know what I mean? But what do you want me to go? Oh, well, we won it in 25-26. Well done in 24-25. Well done in 23-24. Well done in 22-23. Well done in 22-20. Fucking, what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? Excellent. Buzzing for this season. The fact is, it's the last lot he's failed.
Terry, David...
You just don't like it when I say it, but it just is what it is.
Terry, David came on the other day, and he always slags off Amorim. Yeah, and he said he came on and he come on and said I was really happy for the man. That's what he said, and I thought, you know what, that's for a guy who's been slagging him off non-stop, and he said he was really happy for him when he got that win. So I put the question to you: when Arsenal got that big win, our biggest win, I'd say this season so far would have been against Newcastle. Was you happy for Arteta, or was you just happy for the team? Or was you happy that he got that big win? He's not gone to Newcastle where he has won, but it was in different context. But it felt like he hadn't got that big away win, and he went and got it in great style as well, in dramatic style. So, was you happy for Arteta? Will you be happy that he's managed to finally win the Premier League for him as well as Arsenal, or is it just? Just Arsenal.
I support Arsenal, not Arteta. I support Arsenal.
Yeah, but the players, though, there's the players.
Yeah, well and good. Buzzing. That's part of the whole thing. But Arsenal, I fell in love with Arsenal.
But what about Arsene Wenger? Was you happy for
I was
Arsene
happy
Wenger?
with him when he was winning until he wasn't. Simple. Well, come on, it's not difficult, is it? I was loving Wenger. The first half of Wenger was unbelievable. The second half, he got us a couple of FA Cups, 2-3. Sorry.
So can I ask you a question on that? Just again.
Of course.
It's just a question to understand. Do you hold no special place in your heart for any ex-Arsenal manager or player, because all of them won at some point and essentially fall off at another point when they become too old? Are they all just inanimate to you because it was the club? You don't hold any special place for any particular player because
I hold a special place for my heart for people like that were winners, were unbelievable. They were world class, best in their game, and won things for Arsenal. Yeah, Thierry Henry, the likes of that. But what real sort of failures did they sort of see for the vast majority of their Arsenal careers? You know what I mean? I remember the good times, man, and they were the players that brought me the good times, and Wenger was one of them that brought me the good times. Until
this team could have even better times than them.
Dan. So I understand that. Sorry, because I was just trying to understand Aaron's view on football. So I get that you hold a special place for Henry. Makes total sense. I have that for Rooney and Giggs and players like that. So you could feel that way about Arteta, but he'd have to win you, irrespective of the last 4 or 5 years of winning no trophies. If he was to win you 3 Premier Leagues and a Champions League and another FA Cup, then it wouldn't. Then all the failed seasons would become irrelevant, and he'd always hold a special place in your heart. Is what you're saying?
No, I mean, look. Listen, yeah, it's like anything. Let's just say Mikel Arteta did just go on and win 2-3 Premier Leagues in a row, won a Champions League, and this and all that. You'd have to assess it differently then. Because the success is there. And I'll tell you honestly, and I'll articulate it honestly, just like I'm doing now, if that was to happen. Of course I would then and go, wow, yeah, from the age of 36 to 40, he's won me another 3 trophies, 2 Premier Leagues I've waited for. I would answer that different then. How do you expect me to answer that now when he hasn't won anything in 5 or 6 years?
Well, I think we can, in terms of viewing the way how you hold players in affection, what makes you remember them, or what makes you essentially there we go. But I suppose what has been said is that when people have said, oh, if Arteta wins one, how you feel, your response doesn't show affection. It's well done, go again, as opposed to I love the guy forever for doing it. It doesn't seem to be
one doesn't cut it for me though. But you're saying go again. That's one. Go again. That's fine. Yeah, go again and win numerous.
So Aaron, so that's
were Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Arsene Wenger, who were serial winners. So that's not just one go again, is it?
So that's okay. I get that. That's absolutely fine. The questions are there to understand your view on football. I'm not sitting here saying it's right or wrong. I'm just sitting here and trying to understand how you view it. And I think a lot of the times on socials, I spoke about this a lot last week on a video I did about the football content creation. and I think all of us can be guilty of this. People don't, in fairness, LB's on the panel. LB's probably one of the best in the business at this. When people ask him questions, he doesn't take it personally on any level. And it's a case of, I'm just going to answer it and tell you how I feel. Half the time people get frustrated with us as creators is when we're a little bit closed on, well, why are you asking me that? Why do I need to tell you it? It's understanding why people feel and think the way they do. Now I get it. So it makes perfect sense. I don't need to ask you that anymore because I get your stance on it. This here says, I think Aaron is a Tottenham fan on...
Don't tell anyone.
On the down low is what TK says here. Lol, I find his tone and takes mostly annoying. Aaron is slightly more right than wrong on his Arteta stand. Well, he is right now because he hasn't won any major trophies. I think that's absolutely fair. If you support Arsenal, you should support Arteta, is what Chike says here.
Sorry to disappoint you, Chike.
Big up, Chike.
After what happened at Liverpool recently, who is the most rattled group of fans? Arsenal or Liverpool right now? I mean, they're spitting on their own phones. This is the maddest video I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't believe.
Why would Arsenal be rattled?
Yeah, Arsenal fans shouldn't be angry. So tired.
You just spent 20 minutes arguing with each other. Like.
Yeah, look, you know what though, yeah, what he's this comment here, yeah, right? Sunderland have spent 161 million this year. So this whole thing last year, everyone was saying we'd spent 700 million. Divide that over 6 seasons, it's 125 million a year. It's not even that much. It's
right,
crazy.
Okay,
this
okay.
whole
The difference is, I can't believe I've got to explain this to you, positive, Dan. Yeah.
Go on,
the difference is, you don't win anything. End of argument. Next super chat.
What do you mean we don't win anything?
We don't.
What are you talking about? Like, why are you acting as if this is such a weird thing? Like, the reason why people bring up the billion thing is because you've not won anything. Like, what are we doing here?
No, but then when we win something, it'll be, but you had to spend $1 billion. Because Chelsea has...
Bro, why do you want to do this? But what
have Chelsea won? You're gonna say them 2 tin pot cups, yeah, right? Let's not come on. Let's forget what have they won? They've spent way more than that.
Forget them ones because that doesn't suit my argument. Yeah, come on,
man. What you're all right? A conference cup.
Tell me to come on.
You want to include a conference cup? You want to include a conference? Spending $1 billion to win a conference cup?
For a conference cup, bro.
No, I would not be on my knees for a conference cup because it's not a competition I want to be in. That's ridiculous.
Stop acting as if like this is a stupid thing to say. Yeah, you spent £1 billion and won nothing. If you don't understand why people raise that as an issue,
but when they say that, when you say we spent $1 billion, what I will say is that you should say that at the end of next season because this season ain't over yet.
What are you talking about, bro? You're just like.
How can you not understand? How can you not understand? 700 million.
So you just the last 5 years didn't exist. Is that what we're doing here?
Yep. No,
it
last
all
season.
Leads up to this
at the end of last season, we had spent 700 mil. 300 was spent this season. So at the end of this season, you can say you spent $1 billion and win nothing if we win nothing.
Right, you spent 700 and won nothing. There we go. Come on.
We spent 700 and won nothing in 6 years. So 100 mil a year. But Sunderland spent 160 in one transfer window.
What are we doing here, man? This is
Sunderland spend 160 million in one transfer one transfer window. So if they spend that in the next 5 years, they'll have spent 700 million. They wouldn't have won nothing either.
Why do you keep on comparing Arsenal to Bournemouth and Sunderland and that? It's mad, bro.
I'm just saying, it's crazy that
Dan, what I will say is this though: if Sunderland spend over the next 5-6 years the better part of £1 billion, people will expect them to win.
Not the league.
Yes, they will.
But listen, look, I expect Arsenal to win the league anyway. I expect us to win the league.
I'm just saying. If anyone spends what Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, if anyone matches their spending and wages over a 5-6 year period, there would be an expectation on them to win. The difference is Sunderland won't be able to keep spending like that. That's the difference. Even though they just will not be able to afford to spend like that every single year. They won't be able to afford loads and loads of Xhakas. They just literally don't have the income for it. To be honest with you,
explain that.
No, a lot of teams spend money in the Premier League now. A lot of teams spend big money in the Premier League, and I'm just saying, last season we had spent 700 million over 6 years. So 125 million a season over 6 years is nothing compared to what Chelsea.
Well, what is your weight? But you look at your wage bill growth at that time as well. All these things have to be factored in. This here says. Aaron, your negative energy is what the 25-26 Arsenal squad don't need this season, bro. Get behind your team. If your players are being positive about the man, why can't you be?
I actually have been positive about the 25-26 season. So, I mean, if you want a super chat about what I've said about this season, I mean, do it properly. You're listening to me comment and making my factual things based on that super chat by what I've said about all the previous other seasons. What we doing it? That's madness. I've said nothing but positive things actually about the 25-26 season. So that is batshit, bro.
Saying Arsenal rely on corners is just crybabies. I hear you there. Negative Arsenal fan. Give him credit. Stop running your trophy agenda. Stability is a success. You don't have LB's money, so you can't get LB's record.
Stability is success, bro. You should put that on Arsenal's badge. Put it under the crest. Stability is a success.
LB, you're killing me. I'm gonna get t-shirts made with that. I love it.
It is a success.
We can't. Callie here. I hope you're good, bro. He says we can piss and moan about Arteta in and out. Fact is, we have zero say. As long as the board is happy, Arteta isn't going anywhere. Big up, Cal. 02-03 season was Arsenal's best chance to go back to back.
Yeah,
I agree. United won that
99
one.
was quite tight, though, wasn't it? As well, to be fair.
Oh, thank God you didn't. Thank God you get Spurs on the final day of the season, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get.
Thank you.
You finished on 79 points that year, and we finished on 78.
I know, great, one of the best seasons ever.
Jimmy Ford, that's the bank you get.
David O'Leary was the manager of Leeds, wasn't he? Ex-Arsenal.
Yeah.
Love it.
Most caps ever for Arsenal.
All 4 Arsenal goals were scored from open play in the Champions League with 2 clean sheets. Oh, yeah. O'Hara didn't mention that one, did he? Bastard. Boomer Guna here says, perfect. So Chelsea are expected to win the league this year by that logic. They must. Well, hang on. What I will say, LB, you say it because I know what you're going to say.
Well, we can talk on Chelsea if you want. And Chelsea should be in a position where they should be winning the league this year with the amount of money they've spent. But they spent it horrifically, so they won't win the league this year.
But everyone says it to Arsenal more than Chelsea, don't they? For some reason. I don't know why.
Because you've got a squad that is capable of winning the league.
But they've spent more than us.
Right, but we still cook Chelsea. We cook Chelsea every week.
Good. Let's keep cooking them. But everyone, look.
Both of you clubs are getting cooked.
City spent 250 in Jan and won nothing. Fire Pep. If 6 clubs spend $1 billion, they can't all win.
Everybody else wins. Everybody else wins trophies. United, in their worst period in their history in Premier League, have still managed to pick up 2 trophies in the last couple of years.
There we go. Boys, we were going to talk Donnarumma, but we have to save that to next week now, LB. We ran out of time, man. I'm very sorry, bruv. Thank you all. I've loved today's show. It was great. Me and LB had a good 10, 15 minutes where we sat and chilled.
I enjoyed that. Big up, lads, for the debate there, man. I was enjoying it.
Why do that to me, man? I
think I needed it from last week when I was sitting there talking to myself.
I was trying to get it going for a while. I thought, you know what, Aaron's not biting it, and then all of a sudden, boom, and I was just like, mic off.
The pressure, you just got to me, innit? The constant nibbling, I finally bit.
I like it. This is going to redirect you to Footy Judge Mo's channel, so go and support my brother over there. I'm back live after the Champions League games tonight, so I look forward to seeing you this evening. Good luck to everyone who's playing. Until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And remember, this is such an important message to give to everybody that's watching. That is, hang on. That stability is success. Take care, people. Bye-bye.